Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm giving it just a moment to let people filter in, and we'll start very soon. All right, we've got quite a few people jumping in. We will go ahead and get started then as people continue to filter in. But I want to start by just saying hi and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our Bullying Prevention Month webinar. I really appreciate you all taking the time to join us today. And I realize I might have said good morning. I'm seeing good afternoons. We are at a weird time where we're in the morning for some people and afternoon for others. Well, first, I want to start by introducing myself. I know there are quite a few people in here, but feel free if you want to introduce yourselves in the chat. Tell us where you're coming from and what your role is. It's always nice to see who we have joining and some of the similarities for all of you. See if there are others that have similar roles to you in other schools across the country. So feel free to drop that in chat if you want to share with the rest of the group. But for me, I'm Amber Applington Johnson. I'm the Director of Customer Success here at Gaggle. And I want to start by saying how grateful I am for each of you for the work you do every single day to protect and encourage and lift up your students. Whether you're a teacher, a counselor, an administrator, a technology leader, or another district administrator within your school, I know your days are full. So it's still great to see that you're taking the time to show up for this conversation. It says so much about your dedication to your students and the culture of your schools, and we truly appreciate you being here. This topic truly sits at the heart of everything we do here at Gaggle because helping every student feel safe, supported, and ready to learn is the foundation of everything else that follows. It's a foundation of everything we do here at Gaggle and why we do what we do. And I'm seeing some of the names roll in, so welcome everybody. Excited to see all of the different people, different states that are showing up today, different titles. So welcome, thank you all. For today, our agenda seems pretty light, but I promise we'll get deep into content. Today, we're going to look at the data that tells us about bullying trends, not just nationwide, but also how Gaggle's tools and insights are helping schools identify some of those early signs and trends. Most importantly, though, we are going to continue supporting you in finding ways to create environments where students feel emotionally secure enough to thrive. Because at the end of the day, we all share one belief. Students who don't feel safe can't learn. And that's why the work you all do matters so much. So, we're going to start by looking at some national trends, some things that we are seeing across the country related to bullying behaviors. About 1 in 5 students reports being bullied. That number doesn't really seem any different than we've had in years past. We actually aren't seeing a lot of changes, either increasing or decreasing in this number over the years. However, you guys know from experience, and we can see this at Gaggle, that count is likely low. Many students are silent and don't necessarily share what's happening to anyone, especially in reports and surveys, but with other adults as well. So it is likely that that number is an undercount. And increasingly, bullying doesn't stop at school doors. It follows student home now. With the connectedness through social media and group chats, gaming platforms, we are seeing that nearly 80% of cyberbullying victims are saying that hurtful comments are being posted about them online. This is not something that changes, and we as adults experience a lot of this as well. It can be incredibly hard for kids to disconnect. And that constant public exposure makes it harder for them to really heal from what they're dealing with. We see students who feel unsafe or humiliated starting to withdraw. They miss school, they start disengaging from their peers, and they start showing more absences from class. Another trend we are seeing is that data shows that there are certain groups of students that are seeing and experiencing higher rates of bullying than others. These groups include middle schoolers, which that we all know is a time of change. So it is a time where we see increased reports of bullying. girls, and then students from other racial and cultural minority groups also experience bullying at a higher rate. Those are unfortunately the same groups that are already facing persistent gaps in attendance and achievement. When bullying and bias overlap, those gaps often start to widen even more. So, when we talk about bullying prevention, we're not just talking about safety. We're talking about equity in some cases, belonging, and the ability for every student to reach their full potential. Because every student deserves to log on, walk into school, and sit in class knowing they're safe, valued, and supported. When we start to share gaggle trends, I want to make sure you all know that these are not just numbers. They're insights drawn from real experiences across the more than 6.5 million students that Gaggle protects every day. These trends come from the emails, every document, the moments that we see from the students that are sometimes just writing in everyday communication. But sometimes these are a quiet sign that something's wrong. Each day, Gaggle reviews over 60 million pieces of student content. To put that into data terms, that's more than 2 petabytes of data each month. For anyone who doesn't speak in data terms, like me, I promise I had to look this up too, but 2 petabytes of data, and again, this is in a single month. That's about the same as streaming HD video continuously, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, for almost 13 years. And that's all coming in 1 month for Gaggle. From that, we help schools take real, life-changing action. This results in over 26,000 emergency calls last year that were placed to keep students safe. Over 450,000 alerts sent to educators about concerning content. Educators just like all of you in the room. And then over 355,000 compromised accounts disabled since October. This is not a number that's typically seen or felt, but what this results in is Gaggle allowing schools to disable accounts that are no longer able to send concerning content from a student's account unknowingly. With more than a couple decades of experience here at Gaggle, our work is about more than technology. It's about connection. Every alert, every call, every message represents a moment where a caring adult has a chance to step in and make a difference. So when we look at the data from this year, from last year, it's the 24-25 school year, a few patterns start to stand out, and those patterns are really concerning. You can see on the screen where we are seeing increase in these troubling situations like gun-related images, increases in suicide and imminent risk. Elementary students have increasing suicide and self-harm incidents as well. These trends aren't just statistics. They're signals of distress, and often that distress is tied to things like bullying, isolation, or disconnection. When students feel targeted or alone, that pain can show up in many ways. Self-harm, aggression, withdrawal, or other risky behaviors that we are seeing increasing. What this tells us is that the signs are there, and students do communicate their distress long before it becomes a crisis. That's where Gaggle and our school partners like you make the difference. Spotting those early indicators, stepping in with care, and preventing the cycle of harm from escalating. Another trend we are seeing that I'm sure you all are experiencing very closely as well, if not using some of these tools yourself, is it related to AI. More schools are seeing bullying take a new form through AI tools that create deep fakes, through the chat apps, and through impersonations through AI. At the same time, students are also using AI for help. They are typing in things like, what do I do if my friends are bullying me? Or in some cases, you're my only friend. It's really heartbreaking to see this. Unfortunately, we see a number of these alerts come through Gaggle, but it's telling us something very powerful. Some students feel safer opening up to an AI chatbot than they do to an adult. That's why monitoring this behavior matters. It's not to invade their privacy, but it's helping recognize those digital cries for help and responding with empathy in times when they don't feel safe telling somebody they know. For a few examples here, you can see these are things that Gaggle's web activity monitoring has caught. In addition to that, we are seeing an increasing number of incidents related to AI chats, and more specifically in regards to harassment. As you can see, we've had 80 questionable content items that have been flagged just this school year alone related to AI chats, and over 300 last year. That doesn't include any additional concerning content that was flagged for things like suicide, self-harm, and violence. These moments, they aren't about the technology. They're about students who are stressed. When a student types something like this, it's not a data point, it's a message that says, I am not okay. I do see that somebody has their hand raised. If you do have a question, would you please add that into the chat? It's going to be the easiest way. I just want to make sure if you do have questions, you are more than welcome to toss those in the chat, and I will do my best to get those answered. Um, just to close out on the AI that we are seeing, some of the concerns we are seeing, when schools have those right messaging systems in place, what's great about Gaggle and the tools that we have is that these messages aren't getting lost. It's allowing these messages to be heard, and that's allowing adults like you to make a difference for that kid who has a need and is crying out for help. Another, I wouldn't say new trend, but something we continue to see bullying behaviors showing up in digital spaces. We know that cyberbullying continues to be a concern, especially with the prevalence of social media applications and gaming platforms like Discord and Roblox. And these are things that we continue to see at Gaggle as well, especially with our web activity monitoring. These aren't new, as I mentioned, but they are very persistent. Students are always connected and they're still experiencing the teasing, exclusion, and public shaming in the spaces that often feel impossible for them to escape. Again, we as adults feel that as well. It's a very hard to not be connected all the time on our social media platforms and always having a device in our hand. What makes this especially challenging when it comes to our students is that a lot of this is happening after school hours. It's happening when the students are at home and they start really feeling that isolation. That's why the visibility through tools like our web activity monitor are so important. It's helping schools recognize these concerning patterns early and allowing them to step in with care before online cruelty escalates. So, what can schools do proactively to help with these different situations? I know it can seem like a lot, but there are definitely some steps that you can take that are going to help when it comes to some of these trends, especially when it comes to AI and allowing kids to control their behaviors and understand how to cope. The first thing is keeping your web filters and your monitoring systems current, making sure that those systems are including searches and restrictions for AI sites. It's not perfect, but it certainly does allow you to have more control and more insight. Students are using these tools every day. You guys might be using these tools every day. I know I'm finding myself using them more and more. So monitoring them helps identify those concerning searches and those conversations before they grow into something bigger. Second, invest in digital citizenship efforts. Teaching kids empathy, responsibility, and kindness online gives students the tools to handle conflict in healthier ways. And let's be honest, we as adults can use that as well. There are a lot of really great resources out there. Most schools are using some sort of digital citizenship education. However, a couple listed here are really great resources. Some of them allow you to access free content that's even broken out by grade level, so it meets kids where they are so that they can truly learn how to be good digital citizens. Donna, I'm seeing your note in here real quick and I'm taking a look. Donna, I'm gonna come back to your question because I do see that you've asked if the teacher would receive that as well. That's something that is actually going to require me to look into that a little bit more. So I want to make sure that we get you the answer you need, but I promise I can't easily dig into that right now, but I will take note of this and make sure we get you an answer. The third thing I want to make sure we talk about of things you can do before we move on is strong partnerships with families. It's not necessarily listed outright on this particular slide, but what you'll hear from me later when I start to talk about the experiences from our Gaggle therapy service providers is that partnerships with family and communities are key to kids achieving successful outcomes when they're experiencing bullying and preventing it. When home and school share the same message of care and respect, students start to feel that consistency, and they are more likely to speak up when they know that the adults around them are there to support them. Prevention isn't just about surveillance, it's about connection. It's about noticing those small signs, building that trust with those kids, and showing them that there's always someone who cares enough to act. Um, LaShawn, I see your question here. We are actually about to get into the Gaggle angle on this, and I want to make sure we take a look at how Gaggle can directly support you. So I think that's going to help answer your question, but please jump in if I don't answer that. So let's take a look. The first of those is going to be our web activity monitoring. I know we talked about the AI examples, the social media examples. This is the tool that's allowing us to flag those concerns for our schools. They allow us to see the concerning searches and behaviors in real time, like students venting about being bullied, looking up ways to harm themselves, or posting hurtful comments online. Gaggle Activity Monitor is going to be searching, they're reviewing web searches, message drafts, when students are entering content into chat messages. When I mentioned some of those gaming platforms, we are seeing that content of kids adding comments, whether they are bullying another student or another person through those, or they are responding to those. We are receiving those as well as the AI prompts through our web activity monitor. This is giving schools a clear picture of what students are really experiencing when they are online. When something concerning is detected through our web activity monitor, emergency contacts receive an alert just like they do for other content that they see from Gaggle through their Google platform or their Microsoft platforms. And because it's coming from a web activity monitor, that alert's going to contain screen captures that add context to the situation. So that allows you to not only see what is happening, but it allows you to be able to take action quickly and appropriately when you're given the right context. So it's not about catching students doing something wrong. We all know that these tools are in place to help prevent situations. It's about noticing when something's wrong and getting them help in time. LaShawn, please let me know if that did not answer your question. But again, the Web Activity Monitor does review those searches and that web activity in real time. Casey, you kind of sent me through a really good path with your question about text alerts. We do have text alerts for our emergency contacts, something that we can talk about on the site if you're interested in expanding your emergency contact outreach. But something Gaggle is also launching that is new and coming very, very soon is our mobile app. So not text messages, but a mobile app that allows for instant push notifications. So this is going to help our emergency contacts respond to alerts faster wherever they happen to be. We know that oftentimes you are not sitting at a desk. Wouldn't that be great? But you are often on the go, and so your phone is your method of receiving content. And even if it's a text message or if it's an email from Gaggle, it can be difficult to filter that out through other noise that's coming in because I know you all receive too many emails. So this mobile app will it allow you to respond, review and respond to incidents quickly. There's an opportunity to add push notifications, and it is secure, gives you on-the-go access, and then staff can review incident details and take action from their phone the moment the alert comes in. Every update to the alert from the mobile app is also automatically synced back to the Gaggle portal. That makes sure that communication is clear and documentation is complete, so you have the same information on the mobile app as well as the Gaggle portal. So it's all about helping schools act quickly and confidently, no matter where you happen to be. So quick access is just the first step. The next is ensuring every alert gets the follow-up it deserves. Our new incident resolution options, which some of you may have seen, help schools stay organized, track outcomes, and respond quickly when current concerns arise. Each resolution is logged, creating a clear history of alerts, follow up, and support. So it's helping you make sure nothing falls through the cracks. It's about giving educators confidence that every situation has been seen and addressed, all the way from alert to resolution. If you haven't seen these changes, they are actually in the portal right now. Take a look at those. It should make resolving incidents much cleaner and quicker for you. And if you need any help accessing the portal, please reach out to our support team. We want to make sure that everybody who wants access has access to the content they need. Along with our updates to our incident portal, we've also refreshed our alert email layout. We've adjusted it to make it even easier for you to get the right information right when you need it. So, in a moment of concern, every second counts, and making sure you have clear, organized details at your fingertips helps you act quickly and with confidence and is a priority for us here at Gaggle. Ah, I just got asked about a launch date for the mobile app. We do not have a launch date, but we should see that coming soon. And when I say coming soon, ideally we're looking at next month. We're currently in testing phases, but we are starting to plan our communications around a bigger launch. So you will be hearing more from us very soon once that's available. All right, Patricia, I'm going to come back to your question at the end, but I want to make sure I get you an answer as well, because the short answer is yes, we can definitely work with you on that. All right, so that's our email update alert. So again, all of these changes in Gaggle that you can see now, the alert email as well as the incident resolution updates, those are all part of helping you respond faster to situations and be allowing you to follow through on those concerns quicker, making sure you have access to the data you need, and make sure that you can take action and no student concern goes unanswered. The last update on our product side that I want to share is an update that's going to help you see the bigger picture, because we know quick access to information is important, but we also know how you respond can often rely on the bigger picture, and there's a lot of power in being able to see more. Our product team is currently in development for a new roadmap item, which we're calling the student profile. This student profile is designed to give a deeper, more complete view of each student's Gaggle history. This feature will bring together past alerts, interventions in context, all in one place, helping you recognize patterns, identify needs, and respond with confidence and care. We know that when you can see the full story, you can provide the right support at the right time. So we want to make sure that we are giving you the complete story for all things related to that student and Gaggle. Now, our alert system is one piece of Gaggle. It really helps schools identify their safety concerns early. But Gaggle therapy helps take the next step, and that is providing the ongoing support for your students after those concerns are identified. Last school year alone, about 20% of the therapy referrals our Gaggle therapy team saw were related to peer connection needs. Peer connection needs often came with a deeper referral reason of students identified as being bullied. These students were struggling to find their place, feeling isolated, or oftentimes navigating trouble navigating conflict. This year, we are seeing a similar trend in therapy referrals for peer connections, but we are actually seeing a little bit of increase because we are now seeing it as one of our top reasons for those referrals. The students that are often referred for that reason are often quieter stories behind the alerts. Students who may not be in crisis, but students who are anxious, withdrawn, or unsure of how to handle social pressures. We actually collected a few stories from our Gaggle providers who see a lot of students who come in for those peer connections and those concerns around bullying. In that, we saw a number of themes that are consistent across the board and how we can really support those kids. Our therapist approach in these situations was through advocacy, collaboration, and empowerment. They worked hand in hand with schools and families to ensure consistent, compassionate support. This was probably the biggest resounding theme that I saw across all of those stories was all of this came down to very close, consistent work with families, schools, and communities. They help students build coping skills as well, setting boundaries, rebuilding confidence, and always making sure that they are leading with empathy with these students. Because addressing bullying isn't just about stopping harm, it's about helping students reconnect, recover, and remember they're not alone. Every session, every collaboration, and every check in with those students brings us closer to that goal. That allows our providers to help turn the students' pain into pathways for growth and resilience. And while gaggle therapy helps students heal and rebuild after harm, prevention really begins long before that. And it's with the culture you all create every day in your schools and your communities. Addressing bullying in today's world takes more than tools, it takes a culture of digital responsibility. Through district partnerships, Gaggle helps surface real, teachable moments, using insights to guide conversations about empathy, respect, and accountability online. Families play a vital role too. Parental partnerships extend these lessons beyond the classroom, helping caregivers like you spot warning signs and set healthy boundaries at home. Student empowerment is also key. When students can take lead by standing up for peers, promoting kindness, and modeling positive behavior, that can really affect change. And clear, consistent district policies also help reinforce those values. When expectations are transparent and restorative approaches guide responses, students learn that mistakes can become moments for growth. Building a culture of digital responsibility is about control. It's about connection, trust, and accountability. It's about creating schools where students feel empowered to be kind, supported to be safe, and confident to speak up when something isn't right. At the end of the day, everything we've shared from early alerts to therapy to building a culture of digital responsibility comes down to one goal: helping every student feel safe, seen, and supported. Thank you all for joining us today and for the incredible work you do every single day to make that possible. Your care, vigilance, and commitment to connection are what turns safety into hope and prevention into possibility. We're so grateful to partner with you in this mission, and together we'll keep making sure every student knows they're never alone. Thank you all so much. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'm seeing a number of questions. Please feel free to keep them coming if you do have other questions. But as far as the slides go, I will double check about sending a follow-up with those slides to all of you. Patricia, as far as connecting, I am actually going to save all of the chats and make sure that I have information for you. You as well as Donna. I will make sure I have information for you as well so that our support team can follow up and get you what you need. All right. Well, thank you all so much. Again, if you need anything or have any follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out to our support team. If you are interested in the web activity monitor, you can also reach out to your support team and we can explore how we can add that for your schools.